council to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Present.
Present.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right. Director and team, come on up. So to the committee, we've got some heavy hitter pieces today, so I look forward to the conversation at committee today. But we're going to hear about some of the initial beginnings of the TMDP with the director here today. And Director, if you could again introduce your team here with us.
Of course.
Thank you.
So good morning, committee. Great to see you all and appreciate the time and the items that will be presented to you today. Very excited to be at this point. So to introduce the members of my team for today, we have Megan O'Connell, who is my Assistant Director of Marketing, Communications, and Guest Experience. Of course, we have Dennis Kramer, who's Assistant Director Administration, or rather not administration, but Airport Development. And then Terry Cassidy is the leader of the team with the Pasley Group here in Cleveland, so very important extension of our team essentially, and will be leading all the efforts related to the Terminal Modernization Development Program, or CLEVolution. And then lastly, we have Scott Carr, who is Assistant Director of Commercial Business and Revenue.
Thank you, Director.
So those are the members of the team for today.
And CLEVolution's a lot better than
DEP.
which is... Anyways, all right, well, let's kick off, Director, with 604-2025. So this is by Council Members McCormick and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance determining the method of making the public improvement of designing and constructing a surface parking facility at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into one or more contracts for the making of the improvement. Director, 604.
Yes, so this item is for the design, build, professional services contract for the surface parking facility, as we're calling the Gold Lot. It will comprise approximately 1,600 revenue-generating spaces for the traveling public. The location is on the east side of Concourse D on existing concrete pavement. We're creating this additional parking capacity so that we can close the existing orange lot to construct the new parking garage, ground transportation center, and RTA train station. We will have a covered walkway which will connect this facility to the existing terminal once it's operational, and we'll also have shuttle service available for those who would prefer to take a shuttle between the Gold Lot and the existing terminal head house.
Okay.
So the scope elements of the project are pavement repairs, striping, electrical and lighting, miscellaneous concrete work, parking management equipment, fencing, covered walkway structure, as I mentioned, bus shelters for the shuttle service, security features, signage, and landscaping. Estimated cost is approximately $21.5 million. It will be funded by the issuance of revenue bonds. There's no general fund or local taxpayer dollars that are being used for this project. We will have community impact provisions as part of our efforts working with OEO. We're targeting the design to occur this fall, construction to begin early next year, have the facility up and operational by the fall of next year so that we can then roll into the closure of the orange lot and the building of the garage, and that's the next item.
Thank you, sir. So this, for folks that have sat through the various presentations on the CLEVolution, is the first kind of stage to build out that parking capacity in order to proceed with the additional components of the TMDP. Is that correct, Mr.?
That is correct. There's a certain order that the projects within the landside program, that is our current focus, need to happen.
Yep.
And that's because we need an empty chair, essentially, so that we can continue to advance through those elements. So the first thing that we need is to replace the existing orange lot capacity. We don't have enough parking capacity as it is, so this option will actually afford us several hundred additional spaces for the public to make use of. So we need to have that facility up and operational before we can close the orange lot to construct the new parking garage.
A major goal being limiting disruption at the airport as well, I would assume, for
Certainly,
customers.
that will be our attempt throughout this effort, absolutely.
Great. And Director, I got a question in the community over the weekend. They said, does this involve demolishing Terminal D? So can you please just give us, I answered that question for the community member, but for the viewing public, please tell us the impact on Terminal D.
Of course. So Concourse D was opened in 2004. It closed at the end of 2014 when United closed the hub. It has been closed ever since, not in daily use. However, because it was funded through special facility bonds that were for a single user, that being Continental Airlines, now United Airlines, United is still paying on that facility for another couple of years. So because the focus of our efforts over the next several years will be landside, that is really an airside discussion. The future of Concourse D now, the master plan did contemplate Concourse D being demolished. We're not looking to make that determination right now. We want to ensure that we have all options on the table so that we make the best, most prudent decisions for our needs going forward. And so that decision is going to come in the future in terms of the fate of Concourse D, whether it will in fact be demolished, whether we may use it temporarily, longer term, yet to be determined.
Thank you.
Just real quick to add, though, that this particular project will not be affecting Concourse D today, right? So this project does not touch it in any way, and it'll be separate from the actual Concourse D structure.
Thank you. All right, what questions do I have on 604-2025 pertaining to a parking lot to kind of kick off Clevolution? Hearing none, 604-2025 stands. Did you have one? Yep, Councilman Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to the director, this is a lot of money, right? This is $21.5 million. This is for the design and the construction. I just want to reiterate that this is for the construction as well of building the new parking.
Through the chair to the councilperson, that is correct. These funds were approved by the airlines, will be funded by the airlines entirely, and these funds were approved last year. So yes, the $21.5 million is for the design and the construction of this project.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, hearing no other questions, 604-2025 stands approved. Please sign. All right, next up is 621-2025 by council members McCormick and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance determining the method of making the public improvement of designing and constructing one or more transportation facilities, which includes but not limited to a parking garage structure, ground transportation center, and a rapid transit station at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into one or more contracts for the making of the improvement. Director.
So this is step 2. And this is for the design, build, professional services contract for the design and construction of the future 6,000 plus space parking structure that will be built on the site of the existing orange lot. It will create additional parking capacity so that we can close the existing smart parking garage and demolish it to make way for the new terminal head house. This will have an underground walkway to connect the new facility to the existing terminal head house while the new head house is being built. So that's very important that there will still be that access maintained between the new parking structure and the existing head house. There will be a new ground transportation center that will provide facilities for shuttles, taxis, ride share, limousine service, any other commercial transportation operations, such as off-airport parking shuttles, things of that nature. There will be a new RTA train station. The existing station can't remain in the current location because of the new terminal head house, which will be built above it. So it will be located beneath the new parking structure. The station will have vertical circulation to connect to the new parking structure and over to the existing head house and the eventual new head house. Also, you'll have 2 options, just like you do today, a tunnel option and then a pedestrian bridge option. The design will accommodate RTA's new rail cars. There are specific design standards. We've been working very closely with RTA on that, so things are going very well. They've been a great partner. The estimated cost of $301 million will, again, as the $21.5 million, it'll be funded by revenue bonds. Again, no general fund or local tax dollars will be used for this project. We will include community impact provisions, again, working with OEO. We're targeting to start the design this fall and to begin construction late next year, to be operational by late 28 or early 2029. And the next step would be to proceed with the new terminal head house.
Thank you. All right, so this, once again, as we've seen in the presentations of Clevolution, is that parking garage to allow, as the director just said, for the construction of the new head house.
Correct.
Once again, Director, paid for through the TMDP airport airline funded funds. Is that correct?
That is correct. So on May 1st, the airlines approved the majority and interest ballot for a amount not to exceed $301 million, and that is for the design and construction of this parking structure, the ground transportation center, and the RTA station.
Wonderful. Estimated cost on this piece is 30 million, Director. Is that correct?
301 million.
Oh,
Is that incorrect on there?
it says 30
Oh,
million.
no, it's certainly not 30 million. We need to change that then.
Okay, so this piece says 30 in the
Okay.
administrative report. Councilman
Saving the
Casey just
saving the
found
airlines,
270 million.
Yeah.
All right, so to my assistant law director, do we need to amend this administrative report, or is this something we can swap out before finance? I don't know that it's in the piece.
It's not in the piece, it's on my front.
Yeah, so how would you like to proceed with this?
Let me find out and get back to you on that, because it's not technically in the piece.
Right,
So I think it might be as simple as the administrative
Okay.
report, but I'm gonna double check to verify that and let you know when we're done here. I'm gonna shoot off an email.
okay, all right. Options for the committee, we could pass this through committee if there's no objection and make sure it is cleaned up before finance. Is that okay with the committee? All right, given that it's not in the piece itself. So, is that okay, Director?
Absolutely, certainly.
The question is, should it be in the piece? For our assistant law director, are these normally in the piece or just the administrative report generally? For these large capital?
That I don't have for you.
Okay, well, let's look into that too before we move forward. Okay, all right, so with the understanding that we will get this cleaned up before finance so that it's accurate, what questions do I have on 621, the parking garage? Councilman Bishop.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, through the chair to the director, the parking garage that we're going to construct, how many spaces are we estimated to have in that parking garage?
Through the chair to the councilman, we are expecting roughly 6,000 spaces. Once the full design is done, we'll have a specific number, but it will be about 6,000 spaces in total. The current garage, just for your information, has about 4,000 spaces. So we're talking a 50% increase in parking capacity, in garage parking capacity at the airport.
Okay, so through the chair, that will fulfill the needs of the airport for how long? Do you have an estimation of how the airport is projected to grow?
Through the chair to the council person. So we, in addition to having other parking options on site, the other surface parking options, as well as the brown lot, we expect that we will need additional parking by the mid-2030s. And so we will have the opportunity to increase parking capacity on site at that time. But this will serve us well for the next several years after the facility opens in late 28, early 29.
Okay, so you projected to be, will not suffice, but for less than 10 years, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Have we thought about trying to build a structure with more spaces?
Through the chair to the councilperson, yes. I mean, we have plans for that. The cost, frankly, is quite large to look at building all the parking now that you may not fully need for a few years beyond the opening date of this first phase. So that's the way we're approaching it, is as a phase one, that we do expect we'll have a phase two when the need is there, and then we will be able to fund that through the conversation with the airlines and approval with the airlines to proceed. But we don't expect that to happen until sometime next decade.
Okay, and through the chair, this will be funded by revenue bonds. I heard you say revenue bonds, but the first piece was funded by the airlines?
Through the chair, all of the construction related to the Terminal Modernization Development Program, or Clevolution, will be funded by the airlines. So last year, the airlines approved $175 million, and that was for what we're calling enabling projects. One of those projects was the creation of the Gold Lot, and so that 175 and the $301 million that they approved earlier this month, they are backing all of those improvements. So that will be paid through airline rates and charges. and that's the way that we will proceed with future phases of the program as well.
Okay, and through the chair, now when do we plan on, what's the process of when we go out to sell bonds for the airport revenue? How's that process work? Can you give me the overview of that?
Through the chair, and may have Mr. Kramer speak a bit more on this, but there is a process that that our financial advisor, our finance team works with finance here at City Hall on preparing for that offering. It typically takes several months, maybe 9 months or so, to pull together and go out to the market. But Mr. Kramer.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, we work through City Hall Finance to work on issuing those bonds, and we have our own financial consultant who handles more airport-specific things, but we do work through City Hall Finance for that.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Councilman. Any additional questions on 621-2025? Hearing none, 621-2025 stands approved. Please sign. And again, we'll get clarification from our law department on cleaning that piece up so it's got the accurate price tag on it. Okay, ordinance number 625-2025 by council members McCormick and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Port Control to employ one or more professional consultants to provide program management services for a period of 2 years with 2 3-year options to renew exercisable through additional legislative authority. Director.
And so this is a professional services contract. The main scope elements are design pre-construction management, construction management, risk and change management, quality assurance, safety, operational readiness and transition, among others. It'll be an extension of existing staff to have sufficient capacity to deliver a program of this magnitude. We're looking at an amount up to $15 million per contract year. That's a maximum. Some years of the contract won't reach that level. It'll be a 2-year with 2 3-year option period to cover the duration of phase 1 of Clevolution. In other words, it's the land side focus, which will take us into the early 2030s. And again, we will include community impact provisions as we're working in conjunction with OEO.
Thank you. And is this an extension of the Pasley contract essentially that, or no, different?
No, but we'll have this addressed by Mr. Kramer.
Yeah, through the chair, Mr. Chairman, this will be a separate contract in the Pasley, but Pasley, they are our executive program management team. This will be kind of that next level of management for the whole program. Pasley will have oversight of this team along with, me and my team to oversee this contract. And it's really just to build capacity to have all the necessary, program managers, project engineers, schedulers, all these necessary, folks to be part of the team to help develop the TMDP.
Right. So $1.6 billion plan, you got to have the capacity and team in place to get it done, essentially. Okay, and then this does require additional legislative authority for the extensions. Okay, and these folks will they live at Hopkins, essentially?
Through the chair, Mr. Chairman, yes, they will. We are currently building out some space for a program management office at the airport, and some of our Pasley team will be there. Members of this new consultant will be part of that, and we'll all be living together and delivering the program.
Great. So these will be your friends for the next 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this, 2 years, 3 options, and this is all for the viewing public, this is all pertaining to Clevolution, to the airport modernization program.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. What questions do I have on 625-2025? Hearing none, 625-2025 stands approved. Please sign. All right. Ordinance number 626-2025 by council members McCormick and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance authorizing the purchase by one or more contracts of 1 ambulance and 1 aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicle, including related equipment and training for the Division of Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, Department of Port Control. Director.
So we're looking to purchase a Braun Liberty Type 1 ambulance. It's a modern vehicle with the latest medical technologies and features that will replace an ambulance that is in our current fleet that's nearing the end of its useful life. The estimated cost is about $349,000. We're going to be purchasing this through a statewide contract. Also, we are looking to acquire a Rosenbauer Panther 4x4 aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicle. It's a 1,500-gallon tank, state-of-the-art vehicle. It's designed to meet the latest regulatory and safety standards. It'll be positioned at Burke, but can be used at Hopkins if needed. It will replace a current ARF truck that's what's called a Stryker, also a 1,500-gallon vehicle. Estimated cost is about $1,250,000. Looking to go through a statewide contract, and we did budget for these purchases in the current budget year. So we're asking for your approval there.
All right, thank you, sir. And again, these are funded through airport revenue. That's correct?
That is correct.
Okay. What questions do I have on a fire rescue and ambulance for the airport system? Hearing none, 626-2025 stands approved. Please sign. Alrighty, 627-2025 by council members McCormick and Griffin by departmental request, emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Port Control to amend and add a subsidiary amount to contract number PI 2023-0043 with Ozan Construction Company for increasing the number of restrooms, yay, and ancillary spaces at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport.
Chair,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I thought of a question on the ambulance after.
Oh,
you already
sure.
called it. Would you mind if I ask?
I'm happy to revert. Go
I
ahead, Councilwoman.
apologize.
No, you're fine.
Just so I know, are the ambulances staffed at the airport staffed by Cleveland EMS and Cleveland Fire, or are they privatized through the chair?
So through the chair, Mr. Kramer will address that.
Through the chair to the council person, neither. They are DPC employees.
Okay,
They are part of our ARF unit. They are not Cleveland EMS, nor are they privatized.
got it. Okay, and
DPC
just out of curiosity, are they members of the CARE union or the IAFF union through the chair?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Through the chair to the council person, I believe they are local 100.
Okay, AFSME.
I believe so.
Okay, I'm seeing
I
your
get my
staff-
I get my unions mixed up sometimes.
I'm
So if I'm they are a member, I know they're union members.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 100. 100.
Your staff are nodding in the background, so I will take that as a yes. Thank you for informing me. Thank you for informing me on a topic. And
that's a
Chair.
really good question. And while that's out there, again, for the viewing public, director into our assistant director, there's specialty training, right? So if you're a firefighter or EMT at the airport, give us the 30 seconds on why that's different from, a person doing the day-to-day in the streets of Cleveland.
Through the chair to the chairman. They they do receive special training when they join the aircraft. ARF again stands for Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting, right? So putting out a fire with jet fuel out on an airfield is different than putting out a fire on a structure or a home or a residence or something like that. So our folks do go through a specific training process to deal with aircraft related type fires and things of that nature. Obviously there's a lot of other security type things that they need to deal with, and they need to have a very thorough knowledge of our facilities as well, so they know how to get to places in the quickest way to get to passengers, get to if there's an injury in the terminal or something of that nature. So to your point, they do go through very specific training for the ARF operation.
Yeah, and as someone who's toured the airport, they've got special equipment to be able to pierce through planes and do other things if they need to, and of course there's FAA requirements around how long, the timing and all that good news. So it's a fascinating system. Okay, you got it. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I have your
Yep.
answer for you. It would need, the piece for the big decimal point issue will need to be corrected at the administrative report. The Director of Port Control will have to sign a new administrative report along with the finance team, so that's how it'll be
Okay,
handled.
but is there
for-
any legislative action required?
Not today,
All
not
right,
for us.
so
Thank
balls in
you.
your court on that one, Director.
Okay, great. We'll take care of that.
Great, and then
Thank
we'll
you.
just, we'll insert that for finance. Is that satisfactory?
Yes.
Okay,
I was able to get hold of Kevin Roberts, and that's the answer. Thank
Okay.
you.
great, thank you. Alrighty, so starting out again, 627, 2025, Director.
Yes, so we are looking to increase the number of restrooms under the current agreement with Ozan Construction. It's a public improvement contract to renovate 5 sets of restrooms, all on the air side or through or beyond TSA screening. This will add one set of restrooms to the contract to relocate and reposition the restrooms adjacent to the central checkpoint. As we've talked about for the last several months, we are going to be expanding the central checkpoint from 2 lanes to 4. We've been working very closely with TSA on that. They've been great partners in this effort thus far. We're very excited to move forward with this project in particular because it will increase the capacity of processing for TSA and getting our customers through and to their gates more expeditiously. So this again is related to a 2-lane expansion of the central checkpoint. It requires that we relocate the restrooms. It also will help because then those customers will be out of the flow, if you will, of customers that are needing to access the central screening checkpoint. The design will be similar in terms of finishes of the restrooms that have been improved in the last year and a half. The estimated cost is $1,250,000, and we are asking for your approval. This would be moving forward this summer, and we're aiming to, if all goes well, to have that portion of the project as well as the 2 additional lanes for passenger screening open by the end of the year.
Thank you, Director. And are these funds specific to Clevolution, or are these other airport dollars?
So these are our other airport dollars, but we did essentially get approval from our airlines to use funding from the $175 million that was approved last year because we had some savings on a couple of the early efforts. Specifically, I can call out the demolition of the Sheraton. It came in under what we had anticipated, so that opened up some dollars. The airlines are very supportive, as you can imagine, of us increasing the capacity for the screening checkpoints.
Yep.
So that is sort
Airlines
of how
and
we came up.
passengers.
Yes. So that's sort of how we came up with the funding. So, but it is still ultimately through the airlines. It is not specifically a TMDP project, but it is one that supports sort of that gap effort, if you will, to make improvements to the existing facility while we improve on the longer term.
Thank you. My assumption, Director, is that you and I hard labor that day at the Sheraton, cut costs.
I think that's where all the savings came
That's
from.
right.
So-
All right,
so
good to
yes.
know. Chief Tewin participated as well.
Yes.
Councilman Brian Casey, 627.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to the director, are these new bathrooms?
So through the chair, I'll have Mr. Kramer address that.
Through the chair to the councilperson. So there is an existing set of restrooms at Central Checkpoint. Those are going away, and so this is a replacement, but we're not replacing in the same spot. They're going to be relocated where the entrance is going to be now up in the ticketing hall.
All right, Mr. Chairman, to the director, are any of these bathrooms going to include adult changing stations?
Through the chair to the councilperson, yes. There will be a family restroom associated with this particular set of restrooms, and it will have an adult changing table.
I thought that's very good news. And then also in the men's room, will there also be changing stations?
Through the chair to the councilperson, are you referring to adult changing stations?
No, just regular changing.
Baby changing
Baby
stations?
changing.
Yes, there will be.
All right, so we will have at least one bathroom at Cleveland Hopkins that will have an adult changing station for those who need that, correct?
Through the chair to the councilperson, yes.
And do we know?
Looking to add others.
And what?
Looking to add other locations as well.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, to the director, when do we anticipate those being done?
So through the chair, this is as part of the overall project to expand the lanes at the checkpoint. That project we anticipate finishing by the end of this calendar year.
Okay, so even the bathrooms, correct?
That's
With the
correct.
adult changing station?
Correct.
Okay, by the end of this calendar year?
Correct.
That is the plan, barring
That's your
any
plan.
unforeseen,
Okay, I get it.
yes. So
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director. I appreciate that.
thank you, sir.
And thank you, Council. I know this is important, not just you, to many of us. And I appreciate your advocacy on these issues within the city, so I want to recognize you for that. And that's great. That's great to hear. So, and is there a way on the outside of the bathroom to identify the adult changing station? I don't know what the best practice there is, but just a flag for folks that may need it.
Through the chair, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
there will be signage. Yes.
One other question.
Yep, go ahead,
And
Council.
then one other point, Mr. Chairman, to the Director. Are you working with the Cuyahoga County Department of Developmental Disabilities for what the best practices would be or the best design or however, because I know there's the Taj Mahals of changing stations for adults, and then there's just changing stations for adults, right? And I know that they're willing to partner with us to make sure that we provide the best service for any of our citizens and our travelers. So are you partnering with them? Are you having those conversations with them?
Through the chair to the councilperson, I had a meeting with them yesterday.
Okay.
And we scheduled a walk. They're actually going to come out in the middle of June to do a walkthrough. And as I mentioned, we're going to be looking to add other locations to have adult changing facilities. And so part of that walkthrough is trying to identify a location on the secured side. So this one will be on this bathroom, restrooms. These will be on the unsecured side. We're looking to make sure we can identify a space for the secured side as well.
Okay, thank you. Good news.
Assistant Director Kramer came ready for you today, Councilman.
It's a good thing, because I was
for you.
ready.
What other questions do I have on adding additional bathrooms to the rehab plan? Okay, hearing none, ordinance 627, 2025 stands approved. Please sign. That is the end of my legislative calendar. Director, anything for the good of the committee?
No, sir, nothing further.
Anything that the committee has? Hearing none, this Transportation Mobility Committee of Cleveland City Council is adjourned.